Hi, Al. My. I had the state police here. The kids again, not my grandkids. My stepdaughter and my daughter. Uh, my first of all, my stepdaughter was supposed to go to work at 10 o'clock. No, that didn't happen. She's gonna be 31 years old in August, and I'm like, I'm not waking her up so she gets to work. If she's an adult, yeah, of course that didn't happen. I even told the state police that. I said, I didn't. I felt bad. Oh, I went to rehab. I was at a halfway house. I go. She didn't save a dime. The cop. I said, it's hard. You guys come to these situations. I keep telling my daughter too about you can only control what you do. You can't control your sister. There's no point anyway in that. I mean, like I said in my last video, she's been that way since 9, and she's going to be 31. I'm like, it ain't happening. You know, 22 years, you think it's smarten up, but no. Because this all started, she's asleep. Gianna is just getting into everything, doing whatever the hell she wants. Uh, I have 6 Xbox One controllers, and one works because when Gigi gets mad, she throws them. Tell her, she still does it. She hides the television remote because she wants control of the TV, and then she forgets where she puts it. So I have no remote for the TV in the living room, no remote for the TV in the kitchen, and no remote for the TV in Alexis's room. And I have no clue where they are. I even told the state agent, I said, you get told you pick and you choose. I said, these battles are ongoing, and I said, no matter what, I go, it's a losing battle because people have to care. Like I said, I can only control what I do. So I make sure every time I have something, it's put exactly where it should be. The only thing that's drives me nuts is when the kids takes. Like I went yesterday, I was trying to clean the living room. I cleaned the living room, and then an hour later, it doesn't look like I did anything. I found my Uni game up there, and I'm like, you kids don't come down into my basement and you take stuff. You always tell me what you're taking and make sure you bring it back. They don't do that either. I'm glad I put a deadbolt on the garage. I'm thinking about putting a deadbolt lock on the door coming down here and the door going up in the attic. I'm just at the point where I think I'm actually getting afraid for, if I'm going to start missing stuff. But let's get this unboxing on the way. My last video was, I rambled. The one viewer wanted to know how my brother was. Well, I don't bother with my brother. My brother holds a grudge against me, and growing up, my brother had this philosophy. My friends could be his friends, but his friends cannot be my friends. So therefore, if one of my friends, started hanging out with my brother, therefore, that guy could not be my friend anymore. So I just let it go. My buddy Lou knew how he was. So did my buddy Alan Anthony, and then they still hang out with him every once in a while because my brother is a delinquent. Hell, my brother is a convicted felon. He's not supposed to own firearms, and went to his house the one day and he pulled a freaking 9mm on me, pointed right at me. I'm like, okay. And no tabs. Oh wow. Ame-comi girls. Number 1. The variant. Now, I finished volume 2 of Ame-comi girls now. All I need now to finish Volume 1 is the #1 variant for that. I still have coming in the mail Darth Vader, Curse of Spawn 1B, a 1975 nine mini comics widescreen that had like Dark Shadows, Grim Ghost Stories, Star Trek. It was made by Warren Publishing. Now, I used to buy a lot of my cards off of a guy named John Pritchett, Mr. Pritchett. I used to call him Mr. P. He lived a block and a half away from me, and there's a lot of stories I can tell. Mr. P was a great guy. I love Mr. Pritchett. He helped me with a lot. I mean, he sold me a lot of stuff dirt cheap. As long as he made money, he was happy. And as long as he knew that I'm never going to turn around and sell it, he knew that I appreciate what he did. In fact, I'm going to tell you a story about my brother. My brother hung around with the wrong people. And we had a whiskey box filled with trading cards from Topps, because Topps' plant was one town over in Derriere. And growing up, my uncle used to know people that worked there, and my Uncle Nephew used to bring me boxes upon boxes upon boxes of Topps cards, all kinds: baseball, football, basketball, hockey, a lot of non-sports stuff. Well, what ended up happening before we moved away, when we came back, all that was left from storage was one box, and I don't know where all the other cards disappeared to. Well, my brother showed up. He had more non-sports cards. Well, my brother decided, okay, I want all the sports cards. You can have all the non-sports cards. And I'm like, whatever. Lo and behold, I find out there was like a big carton, and all it was Jaws 2 stickers. Lo and behold, found out down the road, because I was talking to Mr. P, that he couldn't prove it, but he knew that my brother and this other kid that my brother hung out with, Mr. Ravillo, stole stuff out of his garage. That's where he had his stuff stored. He actually had the only way to get in and out was the door. So that's how they got in. They broke in. So when I found this out, I was devastated, and I told Mr. P what my brother did, and I told John. I said, you can have the cards back. I said, I didn't know they were stolen. I really want them, but he told me keep them, and I'm like, he goes, you didn't steal from me. He goes, you're honest. You told me that, you got these from your brother. Because actually my brother stole from me too, because over the years my brother was like, oh, I want your G.I. Joe. He'd give me the Transformers. Well, I had, his Transformers he had the 2 jets, right? And that was the limit to his Transformers, was 2 things. And then here's my G.I. Joe, the Rattler, Zartan in a skiff, and I think I had 2 figures. So it's actually, he got a better deal out of that trade. Then he did this one to me. I get the train stats. You get the Aurora Racetrack. Well, the Aurora Racetrack was rusted. They were the old pins and pop the thing in the center. The Transformer didn't work. So it's like, and he basically got rid of all the trains. So all these years over the deal, it's like I was there. But Mr. Pritchett, he passed away. I don't know when. I just found out. He had a thing. I always had him on as a safe seller on eBay. And for years he was telling me, come on, I want to get out. Come and see what you have and buy. So I just never got up there because I couldn't really handle the ride, and I didn't have the liquid funds like I did when I was living at home. I mean, when I lived at home, there's money out the wazoo that I my whole check basically. I just had to pay my phone bill and my car insurance, and the rest of my check, hey, it went, everything in my collectibles, because my mom and dad never let me, anything else. That's why I said if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't have a quarter of the stuff I have. But Mr. P, I mean, over the years, I did a portrait of him. And I did that portrait. He sold me the basketball year with Bird Johnson and Dr. J in the center, that rookie card. He sold me that set with every variant card and everything. So I have a complete master set of that basketball year. I think it's actually 80, 81. And he basically $100 back then. And I'm like, that set's worth more than that. Uh, and on top of that, when I was just going through, he sold my dad Garbage Pail Kids series 4, 5, and 9. I actually have almost 2 complete series of 5s because I guess my dad bought another. But the cards are all like they're all different. They're misprints and off colored, so they're actually I would consider most of them are error cards. So I got a ton of series 5 errors, miscolors, change, and but I was looking because, like I said, I'm a completist. I'm like, and this is all from the '80s, and I'm like, well, I want to see how much Garbage Pail series. Oh, I don't have $1,000 to get that. I mean, I need 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, or whatever it went up to. But I'm not really worried about that. It was just that that's what got me thinking. So I went on like I said, eBay Save Seller, and there it is. Now he used to be in Old Forge. That's where he lived, and it says I guess his son John, took over the business. Now he's in down south. I don't know if it's North Carolina, South Carolina. He took over. So I bought an X-File trading card set from him, and I wrote him a note with it saying, I used to live in Old Forge. I knew your father. In fact, he was a great guy. He treated me so good over the years. First of all, he was from the same church my Uncle Nefty and my Aunt Martha belonged to. My mom belonged to it until I came around, because my mom grew up Russian Orthodox, and my dad was Catholic, so they split in the middle, and we went to a Greek Orthodox church. But I got some sets, and I brought back memories. And the painting I made for Mr. Pritchett, I had that thing for a year, and I kept repainting. I was never happy with it. In fact, to this day, I'm still not happy with my Mario Loom painting I'm done, and I'm still not happy with the painting I did of Mr. P. But my mom and my dad said, listen, Joe, take it to him and see what he says. So I did. I called him up, and I said, Mr. P, I said, I've been painting this thing for months, or redoing it. He goes, well, bring it on. I want to see it. So I did. Oh, he was ecstatic, and I was like, I'm happy. And I asked his son now, I said, whatever happened, I'd like to know that he did like it. He just wasn't, stroking my ego, because I was never happy with it. And since they always say the artist is the biggest critic of himself. So it's like that's what I was. But the guy's like, what about my brother? My brother never really took good care of himself. I can tell you stories about that guy. I'm working at WIA the one day. It's the winter time. I get a phone call. Joey, your brother lost 2 fingers. And I'm like, what? Yeah, the snowblower jammed. He decided to put his hand in it. And I was like, what the hell? So I ended up leaving work. I ended up going to the emergency room. They managed to take the parts and but he lost a little bit tip of his, maybe just a little bit, not even like that much of this finger. But they were able to sew on the 2 fingers that were, that was that. My brother has the same degenerating disc disease I have, except my brother. My brother used to be like, "Oh, I'm hurt, I can't go with you and do this," and he still go to the bar. I'm like, I hardly go anywhere because I'm afraid of what I'll be doing. I'm afraid how it'll affect my back. That's why my house looks like Chef Chick's farm, which is a funny. People from Old Forge, especially up where my aunt lived, my Aunt Helen used to live, they would know Chef Chick's farm. It was a farm that looked like a dump. But, like I said, I had a really good childhood, a very good experience. I had a family that loved me. And I know my dad still does. He's always coming down trying to help me and my brother. Now here, I don't know if you can hear that. Amber is yelling at the kids, and I'm like, and there's Gigi screaming. I can't make that girl. I can only control what I do. like I said, you can only control what you do. Yeah, as soon as you tell these kids, no, they're just like her, they start throwing fits. Because even Keegan's starting to get that. First of all, Keegan don't want her here, so I'm like, I can't. Like I said, I can control me, nobody else. But I already know she's gonna be on Joe. Because I'm actually gonna go upstairs later on tonight after. Hopefully, I'll get the grass mowed and get this taken care of. Put it in and do the video, because I did the video for Rima and I did the video for 2099 Unlimited, because I finished those. I need 2 issues for 2099 World of Tomorrow. I need the last 2 issues for that series. It's funny because I gotta go check eBay. I'm hoping I won the toys I bid on, but since how this day hasn't been turning out like I planned, the odds don't look too good for me. But you saw what I got. Anybody got a drink? But yeah, I don't really bother much with my brother, because me and him are like oil and vinegar, fire and ice. We just don't match. But I don't want to subject you to hearing all that screaming and yelling from upstairs from her. So that's it for this video, and as always, thank you guys for viewing and subscribing.